This is the Like to Be 2021 Chelmsford Career Progression Fair. I'm Junior Saunders. Welcome to this amazing event that's going to be transmitted to everybody that's currently online. There are loads of exhibitors that really want to give you advice, guidance, and information around your post-16 options. So please feel free to get in touch, feel free to get involved and actually explore all the options, because now as we move out of a post-COVID world, there are loads of opportunities currently available to you. So I remember about 20 years ago, I would be in the head teacher's office, and usually the dialogue would be one of, Junior, you need to behave yourself. But 20 years later, we're in a very different circumstance, and I'm really, really pleased to introduce to you Andy Sparks from Chelmsford College. Welcome to Like to Be 2021.
Great to be here.
And I just want to say thank you very much. It's been definitely a strenuous year for professionals, students, and everybody alike. But actually, if we can have a platform where we can really promote post-16 options to students and they can actually see a world post-COVID, then it's absolutely something of a positive impact. So what's it been like for students over the past year for you?
Oh gosh, it's been really difficult, I think, for young people over the last 12 months since the pandemic started. You know, we've had to adapt to a lot of different bits and pieces, whether that's social distancing or online learning, kind of blended learning, you know, and it's been really difficult to try and give a good experience to students. You know, I think what we do is we equip students for their next stage in their lives, whether that's going on to employment or whether that's going to university. So, you know, to try and give a decent education through a pandemic has been very, very difficult. But, you know, I think we've risen to the challenge, and we've developed some different ways. You know, you talked about being in the head teacher's office, and you know, I can do that over Zoom. So I think now, you know, we can do that in different ways. And actually, the adapting to the online content has been a challenge for everybody. But I think, you know, everybody's come through that, and you know, I think there's some quite good online stuff going on now. I guess the challenge is, as well, has been about getting learners back into college. You know, it's very difficult to teach practical skills when you're looking through a camera and a screen. So having learners in has been quite a challenge, and you know, we've got to try and get them through their qualifications with the rest of what's here in this year. So yeah, it's been an interesting 12 months.
It has been indeed. And there's, you know, the event is promoting over 100 stands. There's loads of professionals that's currently at the event as we speak. What can students really get out of today's event?
Well, I think the biggest thing that students can get out of the event is they can engage with various employers, training providers, colleges, universities, because I think the more people you talk to, the more information and knowledge you gain in helping you make that next step. And I think the progression fair for us is about that next step on, and we're really kind of pleased that we've managed to make it happen again this year. And just, you know, historically it would have been a face-to-face event, so obviously at the moment it's, you know, it's going to be a virtual event. But the flip side of the virtual event is that we can broaden the audience. You know, we've got a lot more exhibitors are coming, because again, industry can engage with us in a different way. They haven't got to come in for a whole day, they can do that kind of virtually. So we've got a bigger event this year than we've ever had before. We've broadened the reach. It's gone all the way across Essex, so we're really quite excited about it. But it is about young people and our adult learners as well, being able to engage in kind of careers advice, either by talking to specialists or by talking to people from industry. And you know, that way we're hoping they can make the most informed choices going forwards.
And what's nice is that, you know, because of COVID, and it's something that we're mentioning throughout the day, because it's something that we can't run away from. How important is it that this event happens despite the fact that we can't have the interaction face to face and that we move it to a digital platform? Do you think the importance and the relevance is still there?
Yeah, definitely. I think you have to take stock of where you are at a certain point in the year. From an academic cycle perspective, we're at that point in the year now where learners are thinking about their next steps. They've got to make the right choice, but they need the right information, advice and guidance in order to make that choice. So that's where events such as this are really, really important. And we're really quite excited about having people engage with us as a college, but also having access to those wider things that industry can offer to help them make the right choice.
So, in terms of being a head teacher, obviously you foresee everything that happens. What do you think's been the main challenges professionally, but actually personally as well? Because you are a person. Yes, we have titles, but Andy behind the scenes is also a person too. So, what do you think have been the challenges for you personally, professionally, and personally?
Gosh, that's a big question. How long have you got?
Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
I think personally, it's been breaking new ground. Every day has brought something different over the last 12 months, and you're trying to kind of balance work and make sure that we offer a good education to our learners, as well as work from home. You're doing meetings from home, and all of the things when we're kind of in lockdown have been really, really tough to adapt to. I think there's some good stuff there that we'll probably keep, but I guess if I were to confess to the hardest thing of all was having two children who are of school age. I spent, I think, 4 months every single lunchtime doing hours worth of football training in the back garden. And I
Wow.
think, I'm not really built anymore for football, but I managed to kind of grind it out. But it was a tough one. I think from a work perspective, it was always about trying to make sure that we did the best that we can for our students. I think we always do that as an organisation, but trying to do that through a pandemic when every day things are changing. You think one day you've got a handle on, the next week, you said head principals and head teachers know everything. Well, we don't know everything when sometimes you get 5 different sets of instructions a day on how you're supposed to operate, and you've got to make the best of it. And I think we did make the best of it, and we still gave quite a good experience to our learners last year and through this year. So kind of proud of the way that the team kind of rose to it, but it was a very difficult juggle at times.
I completely agree. And in terms of choice, now choice is overwhelming for anybody at any particular time, but we've gone through one of the hardest points in human history. We are now in 2021. Things are starting to ease. How are you and your staff really supporting students with their post 16 options now? And what can they do now to really start to get in the right mindset moving forward about their progression through education?
Well, I think now, to me, the progression fair today is the most important thing. They go to the progression fair, um, talk to employers, talk to everybody around them. Kind of do your research would be the one simple message I'd say to young people. If you gather enough information there, you can make an informed decision. There's lots of people out there to help you with that decision, but you've got to find out what your different choices are. We know that the landscape is easing now, so things are starting to get a bit brighter. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and we're on to something new and something different. And some of those choices will change over time. We're seeing different sectors emerge out of the pandemic that are key priority sectors and so on. So a lot of change going on. But for young people, and our adult learners, our apprentices, this is the time to make a decision on what you do next, that next step. So gather as much information as you can from the progression fair today, and good luck for the future.
Really appreciate that. And before you go as well, Andy, if anyone's particularly struggling, because I know that the college is all about individuality, it's all about really allowing the students to flourish. And one thing I want to touch on before we go is well-being. Well-being's been absolutely at the forefront of everybody's mind as we've all been going through this. Are there any particular support services that the college can offer students? Should they be really struggling in particular areas but don't evidently want to broadcast it and tell people?
Yeah, no, obviously the college is very well geared up to support its students, and that support system has adapted through the pandemic. We've seen a lot of issues with young people of isolation, of being at home. We've had a lot of challenges with mental health coming to the forefront, and the college is really equipped with a very, very good student support service to engage and help those learners. The careers service is there to give advice and guidance on that next step, so one-to-one interviews and discussions. We do a range of different kind of things over the academic year. So we have the progression fair, we have industry week, all sorts of different things where our learners can kind of gain access to information about their chosen subject, but also kind of help support them and develop them as people. Because I think, as deep down, we know that probably people don't stay in many industries forever, so they're going to need to have those adaptable and transferable skills. But we think we've got a really good support network there to kind of help with that. And actually, some of the uses of online technology have actually helped with that engagement with young people. Yeah, we know that people need to be in and need to be socialised, and I think that's a real tough challenge for young people these days when everything is digital, everything's online. Actually, those teaching people those skills of talking to each other and face-to-face contact is really, really difficult. But I think we've got a good kind of program here to do that, and a good student support system to, you know, to catch those learners who are struggling.
Well, thank you very much for partnering with Like to Be 2021. I have no doubt it's going to be an incredible event. And actually, as a head teacher, I wish I had a head teacher like you when I was in school.
You're too kind. I'm not telling you off, that's why.
And information-wise, where can people find out more information if they want to?
Just go onto the college's website, chelmsford.ac.uk. There's a rolling banner at the front of that, and then you can click on there and it'll give you more information about the event. And the event is running in kind of two parts. There's a bit during the day, 9:30 until 2:30, and then there's a 5 till 7 event in the evening as well. So you can log back on again with your parents and your carers.
I almost feel like I need to say thank you very much, Mr. Sparks, as opposed to Andy.
Andy's fine. We're a bit more grown up here. This is a transition to work. So Andy's fine.
Thank you very much for your time today, Andy.
It's nice to talk to you. Thanks a lot.
You too. Take care. So the year is 2021. This is the Like to Be event of 2021. My name is Junior Saunders, and it's only right that we begin this careers event on a high, and that you feel absolutely enthusiastic about your post-16 options, but actually realizing the year that you've just had and how you can use those skills to really, really amplify your future. And there is no better way than to start the Like to Be event of 2021 right now with the very own Mr. Beasy. How you doing? You good?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm very well. I just recovered over the year that's just been COVID, and not being able to be with students. That energy that you get from students and that energy that you give to students has been really hard, because virtually it's kind of like a block. I don't know if you find a similar instance, but
yeah, definitely. I think nothing beats that in-person experience, because there's a different type of connection you're able to build. I mean, I think from when you're looking at a laptop screen or projector, wherever they're watching you, there's automatically a barrier. But that the moment they can see you in person, oh man, that connection, they just literally feed off of your energy, man. And I've definitely missed speaking in person. I'm glad that I'm finally able to go back into organizations and speak in person again.
And you know what? It's that service that you're able to give people that you can't quantify in money. You quantify in mood, you quantify in energy, and it's the way that you really move forward. And one thing that really stood out for me was the no grind, no glory. I like that. Where did that come from? Yeah, throw it up.
No grind, no glory, man. It's a lifestyle. You know, I know that a lot of speakers they like to do all these kind of cheesy or these fancy quotes that sound cool and sound great, but for me, it's deeper than that. It's a lifestyle. It's a journey that I've taken myself through, and it essentially means don't expect to be successful without working extremely hard for it. That's what it means. Don't expect to be successful without working extremely hard for it. So the grind is the work, and the glory is almost like the reward for the hard work. You know, it's the success that you achieve. It's you achieving your dream. It's you achieving your goal. But my thing is, I don't want to deceive you or mislead you and make you think that you can get there without putting in the work. And that's why you'll see that there's no grind, no glory. So, you know, if you want that success, then you got to work for it.
So the last year has been a no grind, no glory mindset, essentially, because we face COVID. And there's a lot of learners out there that might feel as though they have no post-16 options. Maybe perhaps they're thinking they're limited. What would be Mr. Beasy's advice for them? What do you want to say to your learners right now that might not have ever seen you before, or they haven't seen you in a long time? This is the one moment you could turn on to them and you can say, hear this. What would you want to say to them?
It's just simply this, man. Your future's not cancelled. You know, so many people have kind of adopted this attitude of, oh, exams got cancelled and this has got cancelled and we're in lockdown. And, you know, especially over the last year, one thing I've said to a lot of learners is just because you're in lockdown doesn't mean your dreams have to be locked down, doesn't mean your goals have to be locked down. And it's the same sort of vibe, you know. You still have a future to work towards, you know. Universities are still taking on applicants, you know, jobs are still hiring people. So essentially, although life has changed, life has not stopped. Yeah, I don't. Life has changed. Life has not stopped, right? And I don't want them to be misunderstood that, you know what, that there isn't a point anymore. Yes, there definitely is a point. You still have a future to work towards. You still have those goals you want to achieve. You still have those dreams, and the only way you're going to get it is through hard work. And I tell people all the time. Over the last year, I've been saying the same thing. You have the right to be frustrated. You have the right to moan. You have the right to complain. But understand this: moaning, complaining ain't going to change your results. It's not going to get you your dreams. So I acknowledge that it's been frustrating. I acknowledge that it's not been easy to adapt and change. But I'm like, look, I want to now push you across the finishing line, because I'm like, you know what? You've been working hard for the last how many ever years now. And it's like you deserve to get a reward for it. And I see it like this: you're approaching the finishing line. Don't give up now. We want to get you across the finishing line. We want to get you the reward. We want to get you the trophy, get you the medal, so that you can actually say, you know what, I've been through all of this, and this is what I have to show for it. I think that the biggest mistake you could make is giving up right before the end. And I think my thing is, I just want to encourage students, encourage learners, encourage the young people to say, look, I know it's been difficult, but just because it's difficult, it doesn't mean it's not doable. All right, you can still do this. You still got a future to work for, and that's like kind of the key thing that I've been saying to them.
And 2020 and 2021 has left students feeling depleted. There might be students on this call right now, parents, carers, that feel as though they're exhausted. What could be the one thing that you can say to them about taking a new perspective, taking a new vision forward as we begin to move out of a post-COVID world?
Okay, cool. The first thing I want to say, I totally understand you. I totally feel where you're coming from. I felt like that. I felt like I can't be bothered, and I'm a motivational speaker. I motivate people for a living, and I still get days where I'm not motivated. But I want you to understand something, and this is something that I've really learned over the last few years. Don't let your feelings control you. You control your feelings. Don't let your feelings control you. You control your feelings. You see, if we allow our feelings to control us, our feelings will lead us to failure. What do I mean by that? You can relate to the amount of times you wake up and you can't be bothered to do your work. You can't be bothered to exercise. You can't be bothered to do the things you know you need to do. And this is where the whole discipline comes into it of, not allowing your feelings to control you. Because for me, it's literally getting to that place where, do you know what? You do what you need to do even though you don't feel like it. That's what the discipline is for me. Because if a lot of us allow our feelings to determine our actions, then a lot of us won't get anything done. So I'm not saying you're not going to feel tired. I'm not saying you're not going to feel like not doing your work, but I'm saying feel it, acknowledge it, then pull it to the side and just do what you need to do. Because one of the best feelings is that feeling of accomplishment when you've got your work done or you've completed a task and you never felt like doing it in the first place. So I can only encourage you. And it's literally a conscious decision that you need to make. People can come up with all these fancy things. Oh, if you wake up and you just literally have to make a decision. And I think it comes down to like, how bad do you want it? And I think your willingness or your reason to succeed needs to be stronger than your excuses to be lazy. Because that's what it really comes down to. Your reasons to want to be successful has to be stronger than your excuses to be lazy. That's what I would say.
So let's say a 16-year-old or a student of any age that's watching now, for instance, are at a crossroads and they're feeling pressure from the environment they're in, or perhaps systematically their parents, their brothers, their sisters have gone to university and they're thinking about an apprenticeship route, but they're scared to exercise that, or unconfident, I'll use that term, to say, look, I want to take this avenue instead of that avenue. What would be your message to them?
I say it's two things, man. You touched on a word. You said confident or unconfident, and I think confidence for me is two things. It's number one, a conscious decision you need to make, and I say this because I used to be a shy person. You wouldn't think it from seeing me today,
No.
but I used to be shy, right? But one day I literally made a decision that from today I'm going to be confident, and I saw my life transform. But secondly, I say confidence is you need to believe in yourself. It's another way of saying you need to believe in yourself. Because let me tell you what's happened. a lot of the young people have got to a place where they doubt themselves. And unfortunately, we live in a world where people doubt their beliefs and believe in their doubts. And what I need them to do is get back to that place where they doubt their doubts and they believe in their beliefs again and essentially believe in themselves. But the second thing I would say that's really crucial to this is you need to create a plan. You know, there's a saying that says if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And with a lot of young people, what I've realized is they don't know where to start, or they've not got a plan that they're following. And here's the beauty about the plan, you know, you're gonna have those days where you don't follow the plan, and that's fine, you know. And I always say to people, you know what, a bad day doesn't have to turn into a bad week. A bad week doesn't have to turn into a bad month. It's okay to have a bad day, it's okay to have a bad week. The beauty of the plan is simply this: it's a structure that you can refer back to that will put you back on track to get you back to the place where you need to be working towards the success that you want to get. So whether you want to achieve an apprenticeship or do anything else, have a plan in place that you are following that's going to help you to get there. Because it's really hard to achieve anything in this life without a plan. You know, when I lost 5 stone of weight, I didn't just wake up and like, oh, I'm just going to go to the gym. I had to create a plan. I had to say, you know what, I'm going to go gym 5 times a week. I'm going to eat X amount of food. I'm going to drink X amount of water. And, you know, that was my plan. And, you know, it's the same thing with whether you want to go to university, do an apprenticeship, apply for a certain job. You've got to have a plan that you're following, because that plan, and here's the thing, the plan takes away all the thinking that you have to do. All you have to do now is, once the plan's in place, just stick to the plan. And I think the hardest thing, or one of the biggest things that I see people struggle with, is consistency. You see, they might be consistent for like 2 days. They might be consistent for like a week. They might be consistent for 2 weeks. But, you know, ooh,
Someone's trying to join in. Is that you?
you know, but what you need to do is you really need to be consistent for 3 months, 6 months, a year. And I think that's the key. And, you know, I always kind of drop it like this and say, do you know what? You're always consistent, but you're either consistent in being inconsistent, but you need to be consistent in being consistent. And I think that is the key for me.
And I think young people should also know that, you know, with a plan, absolutely everything that you've said is completely right. But they can be adaptable. They can, if they meet certain things, there might be another way that they might have to approach that end goal, which isn't in their you know, straightforward plan, because life, things happen unexpectedly, and it's about being adaptable, isn't it?
Definitely, and I think if they've learned anything over the last year, is the art of adaptation. You know, you've had to adapt to online learning, you've had to adapt to lockdown, and I think, you know, that is a powerful tool, because I say to people all the time, you know, the most important thing is that you have something that you're working towards. It's okay if you change your mind along the way. You know, I think the key thing is that you just always have something that you're working towards. You know, I changed my mind many a times on my journey. So, you know, I think the key thing is just always have a vision, always have a goal that you're working towards. And if you get into it and decide this isn't for me, then you know what, you're not in prison, you're not locked down, you know, you don't have to do it just when you don't feel like doing it. You have the right to change your mind and try something else that you might feel will work better for you, definitely.
And because your energy is so strong, I just want to say to you as well, is there any words of encouragement that you would like to offer any professionals or any parents or carers that have gone through COVID and really supported students on their own journey that you could shed light on and make them perhaps smile on the call as well?
Yeah, definitely, man. I think, guys, you've done a fantastic job. I think sometimes as human beings, we're just naturally these perfectionists. You know, we want the best, and we also have this habit of being so hard on ourselves. And I just want you to take a moment and just appreciate what you have done. Like, you have done a fantastic job. Like, none of us predicted this pandemic. None of us was expecting this pandemic. And one thing we've all done is we've all rallied together, we've all adapted to it, and we've all done the best that we can. And I think that's the key thing. Acknowledge that you've done the best that you can. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. Don't compare yourself to this person or that business. Just know that you've done extremely well. And I always tell people, do you know what? sometimes we have to take a moment and pause and look to see how far we've come and really appreciate how far we've come. Because it's not until you take that moment and pause and you look back, it's like, oh my gosh, I've actually come so far. And I think I just want to encourage you guys to say, do you know what? Keep it up, like keep going. You're doing a great job. Can we do better? We can always do better. But do you know what? I think let's appreciate what we've done at this stage. Let's appreciate everything that you've done up until this point and say that, you know what, I want to say keep going, because the fact that you are still here, the fact that you are still going, it just shows how strong you really are.
And where can people find out any more information about you? Because I want to promote you, man. Hit us up.
I've got my website, which is literally www.mrbeezy, which is BEEZY.com. I'm on Instagram, Mr_Beezy. I'm on Twitter at the real Mr. Beezy. I'm on Snapchat. I think I'm on everything apart from TikTok.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't ventured onto TikTok yet.
Guys. I'm still working on my dance moves, all right? But my TikTok's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
And before you go, one message to all the students that are about to go out there on our platform, on Like to Be, with Chelmsford Careers Fair, and really explore their post-16 options. Is there one thing that you want to say from your heart that really allows them to flourish with over 100 exhibitors that are on this platform right as we speak, to really go for it?
I've got a few things to say, if that's all right, right?
It is. Go for it.
One of three. Number one, doubt is a liar. And doubt has stopped more people from being successful than failure has. Because what doubt does is it causes you to overthink. It causes you to believe things that aren't true. And when you believe those things, it stops you from taking action. So the first point is stop doubting yourself. The second point is this: everything you need to be successful is within you right now. Everything you need to be successful is within you right now. You are good enough. You are worth it. You can do this. You are good enough. You are worth it. You can do this. And that's my last point. Let's make the rest of this year the best of this year, right? Because watch this, guys. When you never give up, right, it becomes extremely hard for you to fail. Now, I say this because when I tried to lose weight, right, I need you to understand I was overweight for a good 12 years of my life. And for those 12 years, I tried to lose weight every single year. But year 13, because I refused to give up, people.
Yes, that's it.
People, I lost the weight and I feel good and I can flex today and I can show you that never giving up, you will be rewarded for it. And I'm telling you guys, when you never give up, it becomes extremely hard for you to fail. And I wanted to say that today because so many people are scared of failing. And I'm like, you have the power to control whether you fail or succeed. So remember, people, everything you need to be successful is within you right now. You are good enough. You are worth it. You can do this.
Nice. Now give yourselves a round of applause. This is Like to Be 2021. Woo! Mr. Beezy, thank you very much. And we'll catch up soon. And this is going to be a great day for you, ladies and gentlemen. This is all about your career options post-16 at the Chelmsford Career Fair, Like to Be 2021. Peace. So welcome back to Like to Be 2021. It's myself, Junior Saunders, and I'm very pleased to introduce a representative, of the Essex University. She joins me on the call now. I'm very sorry, Heather, that we can't be face to face, but these are the times of 2021. What's your role?
So I am part of the schools membership team at the University of Essex. So usually I'm out and about chatting with students, visiting schools, giving talks and workshops, things like that. But as you say, yeah, it's all been changed to online at the moment. But yeah, usually just going out, telling people about their options, and kind of telling them why it's a great idea to go to university.
Excellent. So why are the Essex Uni choosing to sponsor the Chelmsford Progression Fair? What is it about this particular event that the uni really wants to back?
So we work a lot with Chelmsford College and have a lot of local students as well from like the Essex region who maybe are maybe a little bit unsure about kind of going further away for education, things like that. I think especially at the moment, it's just kind of telling people that there are really great local options and that there are a range of different options available to you. So whether you're interested in going into healthcare or whether you are more into the arts, or if you're looking for a degree apprenticeship in computer science, for example, that there are lots of options and just making sure that the local students kind of know what's available to them. And so that's kind of why we wanted to get involved, really.
And in terms of options for students, what is it in particular that makes Essex University so unique?
I think kind of almost paradoxically, we have some really specific courses, but also some really broad courses. So if you really know that you want to go down like the route of international business and entrepreneurship, then we have a course for you. Whereas on the other hand, if you're maybe not quite sure, you really like studying history and politics and geography, then something like global studies might kind of tick the boxes for you, or you can start learning a language from scratch, or we have a lot of placement opportunities or year abroad opportunities. So it's really, you can make the degree your own. You're not kind of one size fits all. You can pick and choose the courses that you find interesting, whether that becomes really specific or whether right through, say, 4 years of study, you're taking economics and politics and history classes all in one go, just because you find them interesting. And I think a lot of other universities are sometimes a bit more rigorous in kind of this is the field or this is the kind of line you have to take. There's a lot more kind of opportunities for flexibility.
One thing I really like is that you seem very learner-led, Heather, in terms of Essex University's vision for the future. Can learners actually take their experience of COVID and actually use that within the application process to say, actually, I've learned a lot about myself in these times, and will I be appreciated for the experience should I want to come to Essex University?
Yeah, for sure. So especially if you're looking, to be honest, if you look at any of our lectures at the moment, whether it's sociology, whether it's biosciences, they're relating back all the time to their experiences. And that's them as lecturers are doing that and how that's informing their work going forwards. So when it comes to kind of the study side of things, what you've learned while studying online, how you've maybe dealt with things if you have continued to have a part-time job. And so you've kind of seen how society is reopened, things like that is definitely something you can bring into your degree, as well as the kind of the life skills that people have learned. So university, you're not spoon-fed. So in school, you've probably got your timetable and that's your day, whether that's 9 till 3 with maybe a free period at some point. At university, it's a little bit more, these are the 9 hours of teaching you're going to get this week. And you've got to do a lot of study yourself, find that motivation, find ways to, still get out of bed in the morning when you don't necessarily have to physically be going somewhere, things like that. And so some of those kind of practical challenges of this year, I think will really have strengthened students kind of motivation wise and management wise when it comes to going to university as well.
So practical experience to top tips on how students can really stand out in the application process. What do you, as a student engagement officer, look for when students are applying for Essex University?
I think the number one thing is passion. And so that can be quite hard to convey sometimes. And some students might have a lot of experience in their kind of the field that they want to go into. So say if you are interested in studying history, if you love going to the museums in London, you've maybe been on a school trip to the battlefields in France, kind of things like that are quite popular, then they are great to write about. But I think a lot of the time students maybe worry that they don't have as much experience. So film students, for example, a lot of the time will be asked, do I need a portfolio? And at some universities you do, at Essex you don't, because sometimes we understand it's your passion to do it, but you haven't had access to the equipment and things, but you love watching films and you can be quite critical and have a favourite director off the top of your head and things like that. So any experience you do have is wonderful, and it can be in some really random kind of areas, but you can relate how kind of your dedication to playing football on a Saturday, every Saturday for the past 18 years, things like that, your teamwork skills, those kinds of things can also really help us kind of judge your character, how you're going to get on within a university setting, as well. So I think, yeah, the main thing would be passion, and that can come in various different forms. And then just relating everything you do to, yeah, kind of your independence, your study, and yeah, why that course. And if you tell us that, then you're going to stand out.
I absolutely love your passion, and it's really interesting actually when you convey the word passion, because people always seem to think that if you're passionate, you have to outwardly be passionate. Now, some people may be authors and they might sit down and write, and that's where their passion comes out. So I just want to say it's really interesting that you said, you know, passion's one of the main things that you look for, because I think people need to understand that passion is shown in different ways, and that actually is a part of your university application process. If you can show your passion, may not necessarily be between persons, but it might be in the work that you do. That means you're not going to be discredited in anything that you do, but actually the work will speak for itself. So that leads me very nicely into university, post-16 options. There's so much going on. 2020 and 2021 has shown us so much about ourselves as professionals as well as students. Why should students really consider a university pathway when leaving school, or actually, you know, in a sixth form setting, to any other progression route that's out there at the moment?
So I think, especially at the moment when there's kind of uncertainty in every area, as well as at universities, obviously the past year it's been blended learning at universities as well as it has at schools, things like that. So people are a little bit kind of questioning what do I do? That's definitely a very situational and current kind of issue. I think for some students, it's because you love studying. So if you want to learn more, if there's a certain area that you're really interested in and you don't feel like you've quite finished yet, I think that's quite normal. If you want to do something, again, when I say we've got like really random and specific degrees, if you know you have an end objective, you have a perfect dream career, do some research into that, because some of them might say you need to have a degree. A lot of jobs at kind of various levels will say a good undergraduate degree is required. So you're setting yourself up quite nicely for like kind of down the line. With that kind of passion, again, if you really love a subject and you want to keep doing it for a bit longer, you can become like an expert in that field. You get a much deeper understanding of those knowledge areas. I think there's also a whole variety, so it doesn't just have to be kind of academic. So if you're really passionate about something, you can do the degree apprenticeships, things like that, and you can get both the learning experience and the job experience. At the end of the day, it's also great fun to go to uni. So I think there's kind of, obviously at the moment, there's not as much kind of contact between students, but we still do things like quiz nights, Netflix parties. We do still have students living in accommodation on campus because they couldn't return home. They felt more comfortable staying on campus, things like that. So it's an opportunity to meet people that you might not have met before as well. And so I'd say it's also worth considering, just because it is a good time. Obviously you have to work hard while you're there, and so it might not be for everyone. But if you enjoy what you're doing at the moment, have a career goal that could really benefit from getting a degree and a specific area. And if you want to learn more life skills, kind of move out or just make new friends, things like that, then university really helps with that as well.
Netflix parties?
Yeah.
I seen your eyebrows go up there, like, Netflix parties. It was like, that sounds amazing. There's so much.
So usually we have a cinema, so we don't have the cinema open at the moment. So that's kind of, they've transferred from having our Cine 10 cinema to Netflix parties. We've changed with the times.
You definitely have. Like, if you said that 30 years ago, they would have said, excuse me, what do you mean? And very lastly, before we go, it's been great speaking to you, by the way, Heather. In terms of COVID, it's a word that I know it's been overused over the past year, but we do have to highlight it because it's very real to all of us. How has that affected students, and how has Essex University really ensured that their students' well-being, and actually their students in their entirety, have felt supported throughout the process?
So we've always consistently had a lot of wellbeing kind of support in place. So things like our Nightline service. So that's been going on for like 50 years, and it's basically an out of hours service. So 10 p.m. till 8 a.m. students can call, they can email. We usually have a drop-in flat, things like that, where you can just talk to someone else. You can talk to someone. So whether you're struggling, you just couldn't get sleep that night, things like that, there's always been at Essex that point of contact for you. And we've continued to try and have the kind of the 24-hour care as well. We also have a very kind of open door policy normally, so you can kind of walk down the corridors and chat with lecturers and things. So we've had kind of contact hours where lecturers are saying you can talk to me between this hour and this hour on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so students have been able to drop in that way. For students who are currently studying and kind of thinking about it, myself and others in the kind of the school's liaison team, we have drop-in kind of sessions available online. So whilst we're not coming out to you, whilst UCAS isn't happening in the same way, things like that, if you do have questions, want more one-to-one contact, then we're still here for you to talk to us. And I think that's kind of probably been the biggest thing, is just making sure students are trying to learn as much as they possibly can, but we have those kind of supports both emotionally and academically in place for students still.
Your passion is very transparent. It's been absolutely great to speak to you today. Where can people find out more information about Essex University?
So we do have our University of Essex booth up on the Like to Be platform today, so you'll feel free to come over there. I will post kind of some links to our web pages, and I'll be there to answer any questions you have today as well. And I'm more than happy to answer anything, whether it's about accommodation, the course, applying, personal statements. I'll do my best to help you out.
And you'll be the principal in the next 5 years of the university, I think.
Yeah, I'll be the top dog one day.
It's going to take you right to the top, Heather. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Have a great day. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So I checked out the website for the Edge Hotel School, and hospitality is so big, and there's such a range to cover and really speak about. And I think George is the best person for that. Welcome to Like to Be 2021. How are you? You okay?
Yeah, I'm really good, thanks. Really happy to be here and really happy to be talking about, Edge Hotel School and the hospitality and events industries.
Excellent. So say, for instance, I'm a student. I have no idea what you do at the Edge Hotel. Explain it to us. What is the Edge Hotel?
Okay, so the Edge Hotel School, we're a department at the University of Essex based in Colchester, and we offer degrees in hospitality and events management. A lot of young people, when I talk to them, they don't really understand sort of what hospitality is. A lot of people think it has things to do with hospitals, and it's not. It's hospitality and events really is all of the fun things that we kind of like to do in our spare time, going to restaurants, theatres, cinemas, events, music festivals, all that sort of thing. It all falls under the umbrella of hospitality and events. So it's a really broad sort of industry with thousands of different types of organisation in it. And at Edge Hotel School, what we're doing is providing degrees really to sort of help people reach their full potential in those industries. So we offer degrees in events management and hospitality management. And what's really unique about the Edge Hotel School in comparison to sort of other departments offering these sorts of degrees is that we were the first hotel school of our kind in the UK. And that's because we actually have our own fully operational 4-star country house hotel on campus, where it's not a training environment, it's a real hotel with sort of real customers, and our students complete sort of practical experience in that hotel as part of their degree program. So they're getting the degree, they're getting sort of the lectures, the seminars, the classroom stuff, but then they're combining that with developing those practical skills that you could only get working in a real hospitality and events environment. So students work across different departments in the hotel, things like front of house, but also events and conferences in the kitchen. And because it's a hotel, it's sort of fully operational. As I say, in a normal year, we would usually host around sort of 300 events a year, including around 50 weddings. Obviously, this past year has been a challenge for everyone in the hospitality industry, and we've had to change things around quite a bit to sort of factor in that actually the hotel has needed to be closed. But that's it really, and because of that practical experience that we're giving those students as well, we've designed the course to be really engaged with industry and sort of professional organisations that come in and do things like deliver masterclasses and guest lectures. And we usually take our students, again, it's been tricky this year, but previously we've taken our students to sort of hotels in London and event spaces, meeting with other professionals to get an idea of what the sector is, how somebody could progress through a career, and really just talking about the benefits of working in an industry as broad and as varied and as exciting as hospitality and events.
And one thing that's come across from having this conversation with you is that you're clearly really passionate and really proud of what you offer. And if there was a student that perhaps is looking at hospitality and wants to do something that's different because it's not conventional what you offer at all, and it's really people orientated, that's the kind of picture that I get. What are the skills and attributes that you're looking for? What would be your ideal student if you had one?
Yeah, so I think a lot of our students are coming from sort of programs where they're looking at things like catering, hospitality, and more often than not, one of the key attributes we really look for is that they are sociable, that they're outgoing, and that they like working with people. As you just said, the hospitality industry and events industries are people industries. You know, if you like working with people, different people every day, be it clients, guests, or even the people you work with, it's a really great industry to be involved with. So we would always look and hope to have people that are confident in themselves, talking to other people, working with other people, being in unfamiliar situations. We also, it's really important to be able to work as part of a team. It isn't a sort of individual focused industry, because you are pulling together teams of people to deliver memorable experiences for customers or clients. So it's really important to be able to work with other people, you know, not just working with guests, but as I said, working with your colleagues in your organisation. And ultimately, as you've said there about sort of conveying passion, you just have to be passionate about this. It's not an industry where you can kind of sit back and relax, because so much of events and hospitality is about delivering a great experience for your customers or your clients, and the things that stick long in their memory, you know, the memories that they look back on with sort of positive thoughts is really important. So again, it's one of those things where, because it's so people focused, you know, no two people are the same. So really no 2 days are the same in hospitality. And so you can't really relax. You have to get a buzz from working with people, from delivering exciting events or experiences for those, to really get the most out of attending Edge Hotel School, but also the most out of a career in hospitality and events.
And it's not easy to get a 4-star, is it? So you must that you're really up there in terms of the quality, in terms of the delivery, and actually the environment itself. And I think learners can really bring something to the table, can't they?
Yeah, absolutely. We're really proud of Wivenhoe House Hotel, which is the hotel that we have on campus. As you say, it's 4-star. It's a luxury hotel with sort of quite large executive suites, and a recently opened, sort of in the last 10 years, we've opened a modern wing with sort of more conventional rooms. And it's set in sort of Wivenhoe Park in Colchester, which is this really, you know, if we're talking to sort of students at this sort of event that are from around sort of the Chelmsford area and things like that, you know, it's just up the road, and it's a really stunning parkland that it's set on. It's an really old building, really sort of grand, very much sort of like, you know, like Downton Abbey or something like that. But we do still have really modern facilities there as well. And the hotel, it's not just our students that are working in the hotel. There's also a really passionate, dedicated team of professional services staff that still are there to help guide our students and still deliver that sort of really strong customer experience. But the hotel itself, we're really proud of it. It's great facilities to be learning in. It's setting our students up really early on to be delivering really high standards of service. You know, you can't get away with not ensuring that your customers are having a really good experience, because they expect that sort of 4-star treatment. And you know, we've got things like a brasserie restaurant that's recently been refurbished, a full sort of bar, professional kitchens that have to be kept up to the highest standards. And so our students, as I said, are really early on seeing what it takes to going into operating a venue to really sort of high standards, but also helping to run events where customers also have incredibly high standards. For example, as I said, we usually host in a normal year around 50 weddings a year. For a wedding, those are the most important days of some people's lives, hopefully, fingers crossed. And fingers crossed, they also have a really memorable experience, because people look back on their wedding as I said, one of the best days of their lives. So you have to make sure that you're there delivering that, because if something goes wrong, you need to be able to correct it really quickly. And the standard of service needs to be there for something like a wedding, because as we said, these guys are paying a lot of money to have a day that they're going to remember for the rest of their lives. And you have to be aware of that, because to them, to you, it might be a Tuesday, but to them, it's the most important day of their life so far, getting married. And that's a sort of ethos that we take into every event that we do. We're about creating memorable experiences for people, and our students are getting that experience firsthand really early on, which we think is just really, really important for working in events and hospitality, having that hands-on background really early on.
You've sold it to me, George. I'm not going to lie.
Well, I wouldn't be doing my job if I wasn't, so...
In terms of entry requirements, okay, what do students need to obtain in order to come to the Edge Hotel? Is my first question. Second question would be, what then would they do after, should they come and join you?
Okay, so we have so our entry requirements for our BA, our bachelor sort of programs, we would look for around 3 Cs at A level, but we have students completing things like BTECs, and in fact, I could get the entry requirements up for us now on my computer.
This is live. This is great.
This is fine. Yeah, exactly. I'm scrambling here to get the information, but we also have foundation programs as well. So for people, for example, maybe doing a sort of level 3 qualification that perhaps don't have those UCAS points required, we do have a foundation scheme and when people apply for our foundation program, what they do is they would do the first 2 years of the bachelor's, and then they have a discussion with the personal tutor, and if the personal tutor is happy with their progress, they'll be recommended to actually move on to the final year of the BA. And so they might apply for a foundation, but they do finish with a BA degree. And we have 2 slightly different types of bachelors. So we have a 2-year degree, which is it's all of the content of a 3-year program, which most university degrees are, but it's squeezed into 2 years. The reason we do that is because we're trying to replicate what it's like to work in the hospitality industry. So you don't get your summer off, Christmas off, Easter off. You're working over those periods, because that's what it's like in the real world when you're working in hospitality and events. But then we also have 3-year programs which follow a much more traditional structure. But in terms of the sort of, as I said, entry requirements, BTEC, we would be looking for 3 Ms, A levels, 3 Cs. The tariff point for our so BA hotel management, for example, is around 96 points. All of this information is available on our website as well, so I'd really recommend people to.
What's your website, by the way? I was going to ask.
So it's literally just www.edgehotelschool. I believe it's edgehotelschool.ac.uk. But all of the information is on there, and we're always happy to talk to people as well. I think we recognise that it's an industry which is very hands-on. So we get a lot of students that sometimes are a little bit worried about their academic sort of progress or their ability in sort of doing exams, doing coursework, that sort of thing. And we really like to reassure people that we're there as well. If you're passionate about something, and it's clear to us that you're really invested in this industry, and perhaps you've had previous work experience in it, or you've been doing a degree that's a course that's really tailored towards it. We're always happy to have conversations with people about our entry requirements. Oh, actually, let me just go back. So I think I said there it was 96 UCAS points, but actually I believe it is.
I like this. This is real information.
This is. I am winging it here. I'm winging it here. So this is really. Hopefully, you guys don't think that I'm an amateur about this.
No. Do you know what? I think this is a perfect opportunity, whilst you find the information that you need to find, to just explore around the hospitality industry has been hit massively, probably
of course,
as one of the first due to COVID. And we really want to orientate these conversations not about COVID, but a post-COVID world.
Of course.
Is there any points, or is there any recommendations that you can make to any learners and students that are thinking about getting into hospitality, wanting to do something different like what the Edge Hotel offers, around what they've learned within the last year, like transferable skills, what they can bring to the table? Going into COVID, they were really shy, but because they had to look after their neighbor, because they had to look after their friends, emotionally, what they've gained from that is a wealth of experience that actually they can amplify and put within the hospitality industry. Would there be any words of encouragement for those that maybe might feel a little bit dampened because of, hospitality being really perpetuated in the media as one of the hard-hitting, avenues out there that's really suffered because of COVID, but actually now in a post-COVID world, how can they really be confident in taking that direction?
Yeah, so like you say, we recognise that it is, as I say, it's a people focused industry, and COVID has affected people the most. Our connections that we've been able to have with each other have been really limited because of the need for social distancing, the need for lockdowns, that sort of thing. And I can understand why people might be looking at hospitality now and thinking, well, actually, it's been so badly impacted over the last year that it's quite disconcerting to see that, especially like you say, when you see in the media a lot of the focus going on a lot of the roles that have been lost, or people on furlough, that sort of thing, or perhaps unfairly attributing a lot of the sort of rise in cases late last year to sort of eat out to help out. What I would say, and what we're saying in the department when we're talking to students, is that yes, it has been tough, but as evidenced by the fact that I think pubs and things reopened like 2 weeks ago, and you can see that they are full to the brim of people that have missed out on those opportunities to catch up with friends. The thing that we've missed over the last year is that connection that we have with each other, with other people, being able to see family, see friends. And we've missed being able to just go to a restaurant, go and have dinner with somebody, or go to the cinema, see a new film, have experiences with our friends and family. And we are really expecting in the next few years for the industry to bounce back really strongly, because people have been pent up at home. They've been saving up a lot of money by not being able to sort of do the things that we want to do. Things like so many weddings have been delayed, and people, we've got a huge backlog at the hotel of stuff that had to be cancelled but now needs to happen. So we're going to have a really busy period over the next few months trying to catch up. And right now, it has sort of crashed a bit, but we're on the way up now. As the country sort of returns to normality and people are able to get out there and do the things that they want to be doing, we're expecting to see a lot of new opportunities opening up in our industry, and new ways of operating in our industry as well. We've had to adapt so much, and at Edge Hotel School, our students in particular have been affected by this because of the fact that our hotel has had to close. And when the hotel is reopened at points, our students are there learning firsthand how they need to operate now. The mask wearing policies, the social distancing policies, working with guests and customers in a really safe way. They're at the forefront really of hospitality learning at the moment because of what they're experiencing firsthand in our own hotel. So I would say to people, don't be discouraged. Yes, it's been tough, but right now you're in a position where you'd be looking to start a degree in this, and in a few years' time, when you're finishing, things will be back. People will be able to go and do those things, and I think that that's something that's really important to bear in mind. And we've had a lot of luck, hard work with our success of sort of where our graduates are going into. Last year, 100% of our graduates surveyed for the graduate outcome survey were in work or further study. So, everyone surveyed was able to sort of go out and get work. And that's something we're really proud of. It's something we place a lot of emphasis on. It's why we have the hotel work, because people are finishing a degree with us with a degree and 2 or 3 years of experience working in a hotel. That's something that you're not going to see a lot of people have. So that's why I'm sort of encouraging people to still think about events and hospitality as a viable career path, because it is, and it will bounce back. And the resilience of people, I think, has been demonstrated so strongly over the last year, and that's true of industries as well, bouncing back. So again, as I say, this year has been really tough, but we're optimistic for the future.
George, it's been absolutely great speaking to you. Thank you so much for your passion. And actually, the offer that you have is unique, but it can really enrich students within their post-16 options. So please give us your website one more time.
It's just Edge Hotel School, all one word, lowercase, edgehotelschool.ac.uk. But we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. So if you search us, you'll be able to find us. And, there's emails and stuff on their website that you can contact us on. It's just ehs@essex.ac.uk. But if you reach out to us via social media, I'll pick it up, I'll reply. I'm always really quick to try and make sure that people are getting the information that they need. And I'm always happy to talk to people about a career in events and hospitality, not even really about Edge Hotel School. Always happy just to share our sort of passion for the sector. But I'm also there to talk about Edge if people are interested in studying with us.
And you're definitely that edge, that good edge. That
Exactly. Well, cutting edge is what we like to say, guys. So we're there at the forefront of hospitality learning. But thanks a lot for having me as well here today, G. It's been really nice speaking to you as well.
I'd like to be 2021. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you very much.